Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah. Wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. All right. So we left off at verse 159, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, after A'udhu billahi min ash-shaytan ar-rajim, وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَيُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ. Every one of the people of the book, and specifically they're talking more about Jews here, every one of the people of the book will definitely believe in him. Him is referring to Prophet Isa, Prophet Jesus, before his death, right? Meaning before Prophet Isa dies or before the person themselves die. So here, many of the scholars have said, we're talking about when the angel of death comes and questions them and asks them, who did you believe in? Did you believe in Allah? Did you believe in all the prophets? And they're going to go through and they're going to say, did you believe in Prophet Isa? And so when they get questioned, they're going to say, yes, I believe in Prophet Isa now. But when somebody's dying and they're in the state of dying, everybody's going to believe. When somebody sees the angel of death, and somebody was an atheist and said, I don't believe in angels. When they see the angel of death, are they going to believe in the angel of death? Of course, because it's right there in front of them. Right? They can see now a reality that they were unable to see, that they were rejecting previously. But does the belief at that time help them? Nothing. It does not help them. Because the test is over. So once the test is over and the angel of death comes, it doesn't mean anything anymore, whether they believe or they don't believe. So basically what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here is that every single one of the people who rejected Prophet Isa, before they die, right at the moment of their death, when they see the truth, they're going to accept him. But you know what? That's not going to do them any good. It's not going to help in any way, shape, or form get them into Jannah. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا. And on the day of judgment, Prophet Isa will be a witness against them. Right? So it's referring to people of the book. Among the people of the book specifically, referring more to the Jews. Although, of course, it applies to the Christians in some sense as well. But basically, the Jews rejected Isa. And they persecuted Isa. So he's saying that Prophet Isa will come on the day of judgment and will be a witness against those people and say, I presented the message of Islam to them. They didn't want to accept it. I did my best, but they persecuted me and they rejected me and they mocked me and they rejected me. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. And then he says, فَبِظُلْمٍ مِّنَ الَّذِينَ هَادُوا حَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ طَيِّبَاتٍ أُحِلَّتْ لَهُمْ. For their crimes, we forbade the Jews certain good things that had been lawful to them. So here, we're not just talking about one crime. The crime here is a crime against Allah. There's two types of crimes. There's a crime against humanity. If you steal from somebody, you wrong the person that you stole from. If you kill somebody, you have wronged the person that you killed. And you've wronged their family because their family is going to, miss them and all of those things. But there's also crimes against Allah. When you violate the commands that Allah has given you, this is a crime against Allah. So what happened to the children of Israel, the Jews, they continuously kept on breaking the rules that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had set for them. And because they kept breaking these rules, Allah says, now as a group, because you guys kept doing this as a group, there's going to be a punishment for you in this dunya as well. What is the punishment? We forbade the Jews certain good things. طَيِّبَاتٍ أُحِلَّتْ لَهُمْ. Good things that had been lawful to them. So they were allowed to have these things, and now they're not allowed to have those things. So if you look, mainly it's talking about food. There were many types of food that the Jews were allowed to eat, because the Jews were the previous Muslim Ummah. They were allowed to eat, just like we're allowed to eat many types of food. But because of the bad things that they had done, Allah made a harsher punishment against them and said, you're not allowed to eat even those foods. So there's something today called kosher, the kosher standard. And if you look at the kosher standard, it has so many rules, so many regulations about this type of animal, and if this animal has a cloven hoof, and if this animal is like this, you're not allowed to eat it, and if it's like that, you're not allowed to eat it. And you look and you go like, there's so many details. And if you ask yourself, if this is really from Allah, why would Allah make such harsh restrictions and make it so difficult for the people and the type of foods that they can eat and they can't eat? And Allah gives the answer. The answer is here. The answer is, this was a punishment for that group of people because they kept violating the commandments of Allah. So Allah made it tough on them and restricted those things. That's why Islam, it's very important for us to understand. Islam is the balance in everything. It is the middle path in everything. Like today I was explaining to my daughter, I was explaining to my kids about the Republican Party and the Republican Party and the Democrats. And they were trying to understand, what's going on, who won the elections and what is that. And I said, let's take one example. So we took abortion. And abortion is a perfect example where the Republicans are saying that they're going to ban abortion completely, and the Democrats are saying we should allow abortion 100%. The problem is both of them are on extreme. And the Democrats, the Republicans on the one hand, they said if fertilization of the embryo happens even one day, takes 9 months for a baby to come out, even if one day, if you abort that child through medicine or whatever, it is murder, it's like killing a baby. So we're going to stop that from happening. And the Democrats, the opposite, it takes 9 months for a baby to come out. If the baby's there for 8 months and 29 days and has not come out, it's going to come out the next day. And you said, we're going to abort this child, it hasn't come out yet. Say, you know what? No, it's okay. You didn't kill anything. The mother has the right to decide whatever she wants because it's not a baby yet, it didn't come out. These are both extreme views. Islam is in the middle. Islam is exactly in the middle. If you look at food, what's here? You'll find exactly the same thing when it comes to Judaism and Christianity. When it comes to Judaism, the rules on food are so strict and they're so harsh. You can't eat this and you can't eat that and you must be like this and you have to make this dua and you have to clean the pot and you can't mix this food with that food, and really, really hard rules. And then you look at Christianity and it's like, eat whatever you want. You don't need any rules. And it's like here, extreme, and Islam is in the middle. It's always in the middle. It's in the middle on abortion. It's in the middle on rights of property, whether you give rights to people who have wealth to preserve their wealth, or you support the needs of the poor and this and that. It's in the middle on abortion. It's in the middle on so many, everything. Islam is usually the balance between the two extremes, and we get exposed to the two extremes. So this is one of the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us exactly why the Bani Israel, or what's called the Jews, it says haram alladhina hadu. Alladhina hadu means the word Yahud. Most people know the word Yahud. It's Jews. Alladhina hadu is actually the verb. It means they became Judaized, meaning they turned their religion into what we call today Judaism. So it's saying those people, they got so many foods prohibited to them as a punishment from Allah. That was not supposed to be the original rule. That in Islam, we go back to the original rules that were actually there. So Allah is explaining why He did that. Because they did so many bad things. وَبِصَدِّهِمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ كَثِيرًا. Also, Allah did that also because they hindered many from the way of Allah. And so many people, it was not enough that they didn't want to accept the message of Allah correctly when Prophet Isa came, and later when the Prophet Muhammad came, but they wanted to stop other people from believing in that as well. And then it continues. وَأَخْذِهِمُ الرِّبَا وَقَدْ نُهُوا عَنْهُ وَأَكْلِهِمْ أَمْوَالَ النَّاسِ بِالْبَاطِلِ. And Allah did that also because they took interest, for their taking of interest despite its prohibition. So it says Allah did that. It says also for their taking of interest. So just to make sure everybody's following, and they're not too tired at 7 o'clock. Shouldn't be that tired. Allah did what because of their taking of interest. What did Allah do? What are we talking about? Exactly. Allah restricted certain foods which weren't supposed to be prohibited, but He restricted them because they did all these bad things. Another one, it's a list of things that they did. Another one was they took interest despite its prohibition. They knew it's haram to take interest, but they did anyways. And وَأَكْلِهِمْ أَمْوَالَ النَّاسِ بِالْبَاطِلِ, and they consumed other people's wealth wrongly through ways that are forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you look in the books today, the prohibition of riba is very clear. In the book of Exodus, chapter 22, in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, it's prohibited interest. You're not allowed to charge interest to other people, but they went ahead and they did it anyways, even though they knew they were not supposed to do it. So it's very important for us to understand what interest is. So we've discussed this before, but I'll do a quick recap. Interest is if you loan any amount of money and you ask for an increase on that. So if I loan you $100, and I say after 1 year, I want you to pay me $200. The $100 extra is because you're going to pay me after 1 year. If I change that to $1, it's such a small amount. Is it okay then? No. What if it's $1.01? Then is it okay? Still not okay, right? If we have like one bacon bit in your clam chowder, and someone's like, you know what? Oh, I accidentally put one bacon bit in there, but it's a bit. It's even called a bit. It's okay. Can you eat one little bacon bit? No, you don't, right? So you don't consume any of this stuff. You don't take any of this stuff. So that is interest. So you charge anything on top of the loan that you've given somebody. And likewise, if you're not able to charge it to other people, you shouldn't be taking a loan and paying interest either. So this has been prohibited. The Jews knew it was prohibited, but they went ahead and took it anyways. And then they would consume other people's wealth wrongly. They would figure out ways to deceive people and rip them off in their business. And Allah's cursing, saying that you are going to have punishments about what laws you have to follow because of this. وَأَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ مِنْهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. We've prepared for the disbelievers among them a painful punishment, meaning in the hellfire. They're going to be punished because of the things that they have done. لكن الراسخون في العلم منهم والمؤمنون يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك. But those with solid knowledge among them and those with true faith who already accepted the Prophet, basically, they believe in what has been revealed to you. You is referring to the Prophet Muhammad, and what was revealed before you. Okay, the other books that were revealed. So it's saying those with solid knowledge among them. Who can raise their hand and tell me who is them referring to? The people of the book. And more specifically, among the people of the book, who is them referring to? Which people submit them? Among the people of the book? Yes. But which group specifically within the people of the book? Anyone? The Jews. Yeah, the Jews. Because we were just talking about them. So we were just talking about them previously, saying, look at all the bad stuff that they did. And now Allah flips it around. There are some really good ones among them. There are some really good Jews among them. And what are the good type of Jews among them? The ones who have solid knowledge. They have deep knowledge of their own scriptures. They have a good knowledge and understanding of Islam. And then there are some of them who already accepted the Prophet and became Muslim. Like Abdullah ibn Salam. He was a rabbi. He became Muslim, in Medina. So those people believe in what has been revealed to you and what was revealed before you. وَالْمُقِيمِينَ الصَّلَاةِ. And it's saying more specifically, especially those who establish prayer. So the people who pray properly, this purifies the heart from the arrogance, from the chauvinism that you may have, that somebody may have about their tribe or about their prophet or whatever it may be. So far we have number one, deep knowledge. Number two, prayer, like correct, proper, sincere prayer. Number three, وَالْمُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ أُولَٰئِكَ سَنُؤْتِيهِمْ أَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. So that also the people who give the charity tax, the zakat, meaning they pay the charity that they're supposed to pay. وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ, and those who believe in Allah. وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ, and the ones who truly believe in the last day. Those are the ones who will soon have a great reward, referring to the people of paradise. So it's describing what type of Jews are going to be the good ones and what is going to lead them down the path to accept the truth of Islam. And those who have accepted the truth of Islam, what characteristics and qualities do they already have? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes that and explains that in detail. We'll get to questions soon. So section 23. Then Allah says, إِنَّا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ كَمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى نُوحٍ وَالنَّبِيِّينَ مِن بَعْدِهِ. We have revealed to you, referring to the Prophet, like we revealed to Nuh and the prophets after him. So this likeness that Allah is saying that, O Messenger of Allah, O Prophet Muhammad, we have given you revelation of the Quran the way that we gave some revelation to Prophet Nuh. What was the similarity between the Prophet Muhammad and Prophet Nuh? Similarity was that they were both, the source of revelation was from Allah. And all the other prophets, the similarity, they're not similar in terms of time. They're not similar in terms of like race and language and where they came from. The similarity is that these were all people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicated with. And then it's going to mention those prophets. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ وَالْأَسْبَاطِ وَعِيسَى وَأَيُّوبَ وَيُونُسَ وَهَارُونَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ. We also sent revelation to Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub. It says, وَالْأَسْبَاطِ. Asbat means the tribes, but this is another translation. This is a pretty good translation. It says his descendants. Now, I adapted this from Mustafa Khattab's translation, but modified it slightly. It's referring to some of the descendants of who? Who are the Asbat? Descendants of who? Yaqub, exactly. The one mentioned right there, Jacob, Yaqub. So the descendants of Yaqub are known as Bani Israel. Why are the descendants of Yaqub called the children of Israel when his name is Yaqub? I'm looking for some new people. I got two here. Was that Yasmin raising her hand? I knew it. So we got the same three people. Looking for the fourth. There we go. Ali, give me the fourth. Exactly. Israel was the nickname of who? Yaqub, exactly. Okay. So that's why it's called Al-Asbab. So some of his descendants were Isa, the Prophet Jesus, and Ayub and Yunus and Harun and Sulaiman. It mentions all of these. وَآتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ الزَّبُورَ. And to Dawood, to David, we gave a book. Zabur actually means book, but we also call the revelation that was given to him Zabur. But it mentions a bunch of prophets here. It's very important for every Muslim to know something, just something, the core of the story of each of these prophets at some level. So we're not going to spend the whole class on this, but we're going to do super duper review one more time. So we're going to start in order. So we have Inna Ohayna Ilayka. The ka is referring to the Prophet Muhammad. Who can give me a summary of something about the Prophet Muhammad in like 20 seconds? Super summary. Don't chat GPT. It'll like malfunction. Summarize the life of the Prophet Muhammad in 20 seconds. Be like, error. Cannot do so. Too much content. Hussein. and to the pagan tribes of Arabia. Over 23 years period, Quran is revealed. He was an orphan, lived in Mecca, went to Medina. Very good. Okay, good summary. Okay, we got that. Next, we have Prophet Nuh. Somebody summarize in 10 seconds. What is the most important thing that you can remember about Prophet Nuh? Yes. Good. Built an ark. There was a big flood. 950 years teaching his people. Very good. All right. And then we go. Wahina ila Ibrahim. Something about Ibrahim in 10 seconds. Go ahead, Yasmin. Yeah. Okay, he had the vision to slaughter his son, and it was a test from Allah. Okay, very good. One more thing about Ibrahim. Somebody? Yeah.
Realize, had wisdom from a young age about that idols are not the correct thing to worship.
Very good. He knew at a young age that idols should not be worshipped. Anything else? Very significant, prominent about Prophet Ibrahim? Anyone? Yes, Ali. Thrown into a fire because you argued with the king. Yes, exactly. What else? Yes. Huh? He built the Kaaba. Very good. Right? Anything else about modern day taking your aggression out, smashing things? Yes. He broke the idols. Exactly. He broke the idols to show the people that they don't have any power. Very good. Then we have Ismail. What do we know about Ismail? 10, 15 seconds. Somebody new. Okay, somebody old. Go ahead. Okay, he went into Arabian tribe because him and his mom went to Mecca. Okay. Ancestor of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Very good. Okay, and then we have Ishaq. What do we know about Ishaq? This is the tricky one. There's not many details about Ishaq in the Quran. What do we know about Ishaq? Just give me anything about him. Beyond that. Beyond that. Whose brother was he? Brother of Ismail. Good. Okay. And he was the one who's, it's not mentioned directly in the Quran, but most likely built the original Masjid al-Aqsa. Okay. وَالنَّبِيُّ مِن بَعْدِهِ وَيَعْقُوب. What do we know about Yaqub?
Had 12 sons.
Had 12 sons.
Which 11, 10 of them said he was biased towards his other two sons.
Very good.
And was the father of Yunus
Of Yusuf alayhi salam. Very good. Okay. And then what asbaut? These are the tribes. Wa Isa. Okay, we won't go into. Oh yeah, Isa. What? Not disease. What does Prophet Isa? What do we know about his life? Something. Yes. Good. He was able to perform miracles like bringing back the dead and cure the blind by the will of Allah. Exactly. And then we have Prophet Ayub. What's the one thing we know about Ayub? Yasmin, go ahead. No. No. Coming.
He was very sick.
He was very sick, exactly. Very sick, and he struggled, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured him. Very good. And then we have, so he's known as Job in English. So Ayub is Job. And then we have Yunus, which is Jonah. Right? That was Yasmin's answer. What happened to him, Yasmin? Not 7 years, a few days. But yes, he got swallowed by a giant whale. And this was, he got onto a boat and he got thrown off and everything. Very good. And then we have Harun. Who's Harun? Brother of Prophet Musa. And then what's one thing you know about him? Jews worship the golden calf. That's right, exactly. That's the one thing we the real graphic part that we have, the main story about Harun is what we have is Prophet Musa came and got really mad at him. He grabbed him by the beard and be like, what did you do? Why are they worshiping the golden calf? That's the main story we have in the Quran about Prophet Harun. And of course he was innocent of that. And then Sulaiman. What do we have about Sulaiman? Yes.
He made a dua for the biggest and best kingdom, and he could control the wind, the jinn, and he had an army.
Exactly, very good.
He could talk to animals.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Could understand the animals. And then Prophet Dawood, we just saw in our Khatira, he defeated Goliath and he became one of the most powerful kings. So these are some of the prophets. We should know them. And you see, this is one of the verses that mentions many of the prophets in one verse by name. Right? So it is important for us to know some of these things. It's 8:05, so we'll break here and we'll load the Kahoot, inshallah. And I'll open it up for questions. Anyone has questions on this section while we load up? Yes. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's because we've been talking about the Jews, so they already got Prophet Musa as their core, so it's already referring to him. Question. What is Islam's rules about abortion? You should have come to us on the way to school. I explained the whole thing. No, I'm going to give you the summary. Inshallah. Basically, there are two timestamps. Okay, Islam says that at a very early period of fertilization of the embryo, it's not considered to be a human being with the soul yet. And at a very late stage, like I was mentioning earlier, at a very late stage, this is a human being, even though it's a potential human being and it's living, and it has the sanctity of a living creature. So there's two markers here. There's a 40-day and a 4-month marker. 40 days and 120 days after conception. I have the whole long lecture on the ICOI website, YouTube channel. But the short version is that abortion prior to 40 days after conception is permissible if there is a decent reason for doing so. Like it's going to be very difficult for the family and, something like that. They're traveling and they're in a different country and they don't know if they're going to be able to dedicate the time and resources to that child. No. From 0 to 40 days. This is this. Then you have from 40 days to 120 days after conception. Okay? And keep in mind, these numbers have to be converted to LMP, last menstrual period, because they're different conversion rates, 12 days difference, So this is from conception 40 to 120 days, you have to have a very good reason, like there's going to be detected to be major chromosomal abnormality, this child is going to really suffer in the world or something like that, then abortion will be permissible in this case, but not for any other reasons. And after 120 days, abortion is going to be considered to be killing this child that's there, and the only permission that's going to be allowed is if the mother's life is in danger and only one of them can be saved, then you give precedence to the mother's life because she is a full human being, whereas this is a potential human being. Even though it has a soul, it has not come out completely yet, so the precedence goes to the mother's life. This is the super summary of abortion in Islam. Yes. Any other prophets in Christianity? You meaning in the Bible? Oh, that were not mentioned in the Quran? Yeah, there are some. Yeah, there's a few that are mentioned in the Bible, which probably were prophets, but they're not directly mentioned in the Quran. Yeah, there's a few. There's a few. And that's why the next verse, which we cover next week, is this. I only have the Arabic. وَرُسُلًا قَدْ قَصَصْنَاهُمْ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ قَبْلِ وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصْهُمْ عَلَيْكَ. So there are messengers which we have told you their stories before, and there are messengers which we did not tell you about. So that's exactly the next verse, saying that there's many other prophets that Allah did not tell us about in the Quran. Some are mentioned in the Bible, and some may be in the Hindu scriptures. Some may be other, people that we know of and we don't know their stories. Inshallah. We're going to talk about that next week. So next week I'm going to go into detail on Buddha, inshallah. All right, everyone logged in? Ready to go? Okay, Bismillah. Sheikh Tariq Ata. Inshallah. I don't know how he came in there. Is it, huh? Dua. Oh, yes. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. For the video. And what will happen with the people of book before their death according to these verses?